Hi there, welcome to the Inspired Method Marketing and Business Coaching YouTube channel. My name is Trevor, and this is my business partner, Josh Spurl from Spurl & Associates Chartered Professional Accountants. And our topic for the day is Vancouver Business Coach, growing your business during the pandemic. So I have a quote from Albert Einstein, insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. How often have we seen that?
Seen it a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. Now here's a quick statistic for you. 81% of American small business owners work overtime. And I can say that's probably true for Canadian business owners as well. It's just difficult to find stats sometimes for Canadian business. We don't record as well. So regardless of your feelings about the coronavirus pandemic, entrepreneurs need to know what they do best, adapt to changes, and capitalize on new ideas quickly. And here are some tips if your business has not been shut down completely. So, Josh, the first tip we have here, we're going to do it in kind of like a top 10 style of things. So, number one, do not stop marketing. Increase your spend if you can.
This is the one. I mean, it's a hard one to do because we're programmed when things are tough to tighten the belt strap, but really what's happening is all of your marketing dollars that you do in a contraction, they affect your top line and your market share exponentially. Because if everyone else is contracting their marketing budget and you're the only one out there maintaining or spending more, every ad dollar that you have, it just goes further.
Yes, I've seen that happen with many of my clients' accounts, looking at their ads on a weekly basis. And because of this reason, during the coronavirus pandemic, we've seen many more clicks, impressions, and the ad spend go farther. So don't stop marketing. Number two, take advantage of all the free platforms to market to your audience. So,
I mean, we're right here on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Second biggest search engine in the world, right? It's very easy to get a local video to index, but you gotta put in the time, right? And when you do it on YouTube, hey, there's nothing stopping you from sticking the same video on Facebook and sticking the same video on IGTV, right?
Yeah.
You're sit there, even if you are locked down, sometimes you're venturing into a time where you have more time than money.
Yeah.
You have no excuse for not doing this, right? I mean, what else do you have to do? To sit there and rail on the government because you're shut down, or you can make some content, right?
That's right. So you've got time to do it. And the other things that you can do during this time that are free, of course, the social networking platforms, but there's also some local sites where you can get involved in and put your business, hey, we're still open, we're still operating, we're still here, please come support us. So get involved in those sites as well, and any possible way to get your message out there. So the third one, make your customers feel safe.
Yeah, I mean, sure, this one is it doesn't matter how we feel, or even you as the business owner feel about the coronavirus. It's how the person you're selling to feels about the coronavirus. And remember, business owners are wired a little bit differently. Sometimes we're a little bit contrarian, but the average person is getting bombarded every day, all day. And regardless of our thoughts about the dangers of the coronavirus, they're scared.
Yeah.
You have to make them feel safe, but they're not going to buy from you. So you have to come up with a plan so the customer feels like you've considered their safety.
That's right. At the end of the day, it's all about the customer. So we want to make sure that they're happy doing business with you. The next one, find creative ways to get your products to customers in a touch-free way. For example, restaurants who offer delivery, frozen products, curbside pickup, merchandising swag that can be sold on your website. Okay, what are some other things, Josh?
I mean, you're hitting on them there. I've seen, can you deliver the product or service virtually, right? Mm-hmm. Can there be a key drop sort of experience where they give you the code or the keys and you go in and do the repair? Can we do a Zoom meeting instead? There are ways, and it can be frustrating because it might not be as efficient as the old way. Yeah. But if you're maintaining that market share, whoever maintains that market share, once the confidence, resumes in the market, that market share will grow exponentially rather than the guy who just says, it's not as profitable before, I'm just going to shut it down.
Exactly. That's the opposite attitude that you should take during this time. If you can stay open, do everything you can to keep engaged with your client base and expand it if you can. Next, set up a Square account or some payment processing system if you haven't yet. I talked with a customer the other day. They do not have some type of card processing payment platform, and that you're missing out on dollars that potentially are going out the window or to somebody else because you take either cash or you're waiting forever for someone to do an e-transfer. What are some other thoughts you might have on that?
Yeah, I think sometimes business owners, they're consumed with the fees of these payment processors, but really, if you weigh those fees against your time, because often as business owners we're guilty of thinking, well, this doesn't cost anything. It's like there's two costs. There's always two costs. There's dollars, and then there's time, right? If you consider that your time is worth nothing, maybe you think that, yeah, I'll go and hunt down checks, right? But the minute you consider how long it takes to send out an invoice and follow up on that invoice and receive the payment and then record it, you might as well have just paid the 2% fee on the payment processor. And I would go even a step further in the COVID world to make sure that you have a payment processor that you can accept a credit card over the phone.
Yeah.
Because, back to that touchless process, right? We have to have a way to facilitate that.
Yeah, and in some cases, if you're a trade contractor, getting a prepayment before you start work, it has been kind of a good idea. I've heard of some contractors not getting paid because other people are not, getting their income. So make sure you protect yourself from that. The next one, collaborate with other businesses to expand your customer base and reach, and work off of a mutually beneficial agreement to each other. I've got a good example. I've got a client who owns a campground, and what they've been doing is going to all the local businesses in the town where they're nearby, and they're making arrangements for their campers to get deals at their stores. So it number one, it produces kind of some cross marketing where the local business gets some walk-in traffic or purchase traffic, and then they also get a plug for their campground. So it's been really good that way.
Yeah, I mean, what we're doing right now. I mean, maybe you're an electrician, but you know a plumber. Okay, do a collaboration together, right? You guys each have a list. You guys can come up with a couple, common products, and you guys could, send out an email blast to your customer base. And potentially one of their clients converts to you, and one of your clients converts to them. It's kind of a win-win, right? Yeah. You can do a video just like this, right? You guys each have a social media reach. Maybe it's not that big together, but you expand it. Maybe it's a times two right then, right? So you want to look at those opportunities.
Exactly. It's kind of like marketing before there was digital. It's different now. Okay. Next thing, pick up the phone and go for a walk. What do I mean by that? So picking up the phone. What most business owners won't do is pick up the phone and cold call for clients. A lot of them are afraid of the phone. They've been told cold calling is dead, but right now people are at home. That's a good time to be calling them. Business owners, a lot of businesses, if they're still in operation, they're still there. They're going to be answering the phone. And also go for a walk. If you're more of a residential based contractor, go for a walk and put door knockers on every single door in a specific neighborhood to try and gain some clients that way. A lot of people right now are just apt to stay home because of digital. A lot of people have gotten lazy, so it's good for you to expand your way of reaching customers by doing cold calling and handing out flyers. What are some other things?
Yeah, Trevor, you touch on that one, and I think people are underestimating that one. That same business owner that you couldn't get a hold of a year ago might answer the phone directly today, right? So a lot of people, they might have some of their admin team working from home, and that way when the phone rings, it's going straight to that person, or they're checking the voicemail, however they're managing it. There's a lot of nuances that are a little bit different right now, and I'm telling you, sometimes that decision maker that was harder to reach last year might be easier to reach this year.
All right, so now when you get a customer, when you get that client, over deliver. Do more than they're expecting. you have to go over and above in all the things we talked about today, in your correspondence, in making them feel safe, in doing a great job. And then because you've done that, what's the next thing they got to do? Get Google reviews. Gather a Google review. That's going to help grow your business during this time than anything else. It's very powerful. So what are some things on Google reviews that are important for business owners to understand?
Well, let's think about that time when, maybe you were really busy and you didn't have, getting Google reviews, your excuse then was lack of time. Now you're saying, hey, because of restrictions, I have more time available in my calendar. Why have you not doubled back to get these reviews, right? Yeah. And, ideally, the best time to get a Google review is right there when you're sitting with the customer. Okay. The next best thing is to pick up the phone, right? Go through the process, ask them if they were happy with the service, and then say, hey, solicit the Google review and send them the link, text them the link, get their text number, not an email, because the open rates on emails are very low. So get their text number, text them the Google map listing, and then follow up weekly, monthly. Yeah. Because a lot of times people want to do it, they're just busy and they forget, right?
Yep. Right now, that's going to be one of the biggest things to help you grow your business is getting those reviews. And when you open back up, you're going to be eclipsing any of your local competition. So think about that. Next, take advantage of all available government funds and programs to help with operating costs. Josh, we know something about this, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of them out there, and sometimes it feels like, we're talking about business owners who might not have ever even collected EI ever in their life, right? And it feels a little bit unnatural. And I tell them, it's like, hey, we look at the details. Do you qualify? You don't have to come up with a spiritual reason to disqualify yourself, because I guarantee you, when it comes time to pay your tax, the government is going to come up with a spiritual reason to let you opt out of your tax, right? It's going to come back. It's just a silly system where, you pay them tax in good times and there's money that comes back in bad times. So just look at the letter of the law, and if you qualify, do not feel guilty about it. You're simply getting some of the money that you paid in the first place back.
Yeah, right? You're getting your own money back.
Yes.
And it'll help you keep your business going through these difficult times. Because sales may dip, they may grow, but more than likely they're probably going to dip. So anything that's going to help you stay operational during this time. So when we come out of it, you are in a better space than people who just kind of gave up and stayed at home.
And don't pay attention to the fear mongering. There's fear mongering from people who didn't start businesses, and you see these articles in the National Post, and people are going to go jail time if you falsely qualify. It's like, yeah, if you knowingly falsely qualify for a grant that and it was an egregious act of trying to mislead somebody, yes. But if it was didn't quite understand, and I'm making a best judgment case, and I hired a professional and they walked me through it, don't worry about these ridiculous you're gonna go to jail for the next 20 years. That's not how it's gonna, the penalty is going to be equivalent to the fine, right? And, if you knowingly claim a $1 million wage subsidy that you didn't deserve, yeah, you might go to jail. But if you were a little bit offside in your revenue calculations, there might be a penalty, right? But let's not go overly that the world's going to end if you get that wrong.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, the worst case scenario would be you got to pay it back. Not so bad. So last tip, don't quit. Don't quit. Don't be a person who just stays at home and does nothing and waits for greener pastures or better days. This may be how we do business for a while. So we got to learn how to adapt to it and take advantage of everything we've got today. So that's me, Trevor, and Josh Spurl from Spurl Chartered Professional Accountants. And we'll see you guys on the next video.